Is Israel on the brink of collapse? Internal tensions, external conflicts, and shifting geopolitical dynamics are creating an explosive outlook for 2025, and in this video, we will examine alarming predictions that many are still ignoring. If you believe the current Middle East situation is already serious, wait until you see what's coming. We'll uncover insights discussed by military analysts, economists, and political leaders, revealing how these developments could reshape the global balance of power. Understanding Israel's fate is not just about politics, it's about international security, strategic alliances, and even the future of your personal freedom. Have you ever wondered what would happen if Israel lost US support, or if a full-scale conflict with Iran erupted? Do you sense the world is approaching a profound transformation? Then stay until the end. This video may open your eyes in ways you never imagined. Current context. Ongoing crises. Israel is facing one of the most severe internal rifts in its modern history. Massive protests have erupted in response to controversial judicial reforms proposed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Many accuse him of undermining democracy and centralizing power. These demonstrations, especially in Tel Aviv, have shaken institutional trust across the nation. Simultaneously, tensions between ultra-Orthodox and secular Jews are reaching unprecedented levels. Military service exemptions for the religious sector have become a lightning rod for public outrage. Social media and mainstream news reflect a society increasingly divided. With every political speech, new fractures appear. Israel is edging toward a national identity crisis. On the security front, clashes with Hamas persist, with rockets regularly fired from Gaza. Israeli military incursions into Palestinian territories have intensified, drawing global criticism. The West Bank sees daily violence, often placing civilians in the crossfire. Peace feels more distant than ever, and fears of an all-out escalation are mounting. Beyond Gaza, threats loom from Lebanon through Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed militia, with thousands of advanced missiles aimed at Israel. Experts warn that any large-scale war with Hezbollah could be catastrophic, far beyond what Hamas could inflict. The prospect of war is no longer theoretical. It is imminent. Put together, experts are calling this a perfect storm. Political instability, social division, international pressure, and mounting external threats. The question is, can Israel remain united and secure through the end of 2025? Or are we witnessing the early signs of an impending collapse? Explosive regional landscapes. Israel grapples with internal turmoil. Its surrounding environment is growing increasingly hostile. Iran, its arch-rival, continues to expand its military and political footprint across the region, with direct support for Hezbollah, Hamas, and Shiite militias in Iraq and Yemen. Tehran appears to be tightening a strategic noose. Its military presence in Syria remains a constant threat. Hezbollah, entrenched in southern Lebanon, is one of the most heavily armed non-state actors in the world. Reports suggest the group possesses over 100,000 rockets, many of them highly accurate. Any conflict would devastate civilian centers like Tel Aviv and Haifa, forcing Israel to fight on multiple fronts, a scenario with unpredictable consequences. Tensions are also rising with Syria, where Israel frequently strikes Iranian weapon convoys. Though targeted, these operations risk provoking a broader response from Damascus or Tehran. Russia, a key Syrian ally, further complicates matters due to its vested interests in regional stability. One miscalculation could spiral into a wider war. Meanwhile, diplomatic moves by China and Russia are shifting power dynamics. Both powers seek to undermine US influence while backing Israel's adversaries. Iran, in particular, benefits from Chinese and Russian financial and technological support. This realignment may leave Israel increasingly isolated on the world stage. With such volatility surrounding it, Israel remains on constant high alert. Any spark could ignite a regional war with global consequences. The critical question now is, can Israel withstand such a complex siege in 2025? Or are its enemies strategically waiting for the moment of internal collapse, economic strain, and internal fragility? Despite being one of the Middle East's most advanced economies, Israel is beginning to show cracks. The cost of living in cities, like Tel Aviv, is skyrocketing, making it one of the most expensive places on earth. A housing crisis affects millions, especially younger families. Many are drowning in debt, with little hope for financial security. Israel's once celebrated tech sector is shrinking. Political instability is scaring off foreign investors, while persistent threats of war discourage long-term economic growth. A concerning brain drain is underway, with top talent relocating to the US, Canada, or Germany. The innovation engine may be stalling. The social welfare system is under strain. Deep divisions between ultra-Orthodox and secular citizens are intensifying debates over who contributes to and benefits from the state. Many ultra-Orthodox neither serve in the military nor work, fueling resentment and jeopardizing the social contract that has held Israel together for decades. Political polarization adds fuel to the fire. Frequent demonstrations disrupt commerce, tourism, and institutional stability. Confidence in government is fading, and democratic institutions are viewed with growing suspicion. This erosion of trust risks triggering a full-scale crisis, not just politically but economically as well. Ultimately, a nation divided from within is far more vulnerable to external threats. Israel's economic decline isn't just a financial issue, it's a national security risk. A weakened economy invites aggression, and if financial degradation continues through 2025, Israel may be unable to withstand simultaneous military and geopolitical pressures. Forecasts for 2025 leading geopolitical analysts are outlining grim projections for Israel. Among the most severe is the prospect of multi-front warfare, involving Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, and potentially Iran. Such a conflict would stretch the military to its limits and plunge society into unprecedented stress. The logistical and social toll could be overwhelming. Another scenario: institutional collapse. If protests intensify and clashes erupt between civilians and security forces, Israel could face a dangerous internal fracture. Some warn of civil war should armed segments of the population turn against each other. Trust in state institutions is waning, and legitimacy is on the line. Internationally, US support may wane. American focus is shifting toward Asia and internal concerns. Should Israel find itself diplomatically isolated, its ability to secure military, financial, and political backing will be compromised. Regional adversaries would likely seize this opportunity to escalate their agendas. There's also the threat of economic collapse. In times of war or repression, foreign investors may flee, and Israel could face international sanctions. Tourism, business, and global reputation would suffer. A financial freefall would render a prolonged war nearly impossible to sustain. Lastly, an extreme but not implausible scenario: territorial fragmentation. If Israel loses strategic areas or faces internal separatist movements, the map of the Middle East could be redrawn. With war, economic failure, and national division converging, 2025 might be the breaking point. Global consequences: an Israeli collapse wouldn't be a local crisis. It would be a geopolitical earthquake. Middle East instability directly affects global oil prices, trade routes, and energy security. History has shown that even minor Gulf conflicts can trigger global market shocks. A collapse in Israel could spark panic, recession, and realign military alliances. A regional war would likely spark a refugee wave. Millions, especially Palestinians and residents of conflict zones, could flee to Europe and neighboring countries, overwhelming healthcare, education, and security systems. Such humanitarian crises fuel political extremism and instability worldwide. The nuclear equation cannot be ignored. If Iran progresses with its nuclear program while Israel is weakened, Gulf states may pursue their own weapons, triggering a new arms race. Israel's collapse could be seen as proof that military deterrence failed, pushing the region toward more lethal conflict. Religiously, the implications are profound. For millions of Jews, Israel is central to their identity. For many Christians, it holds prophetic significance. A collapse would cause deep spiritual and cultural shock. Extremist groups would see it as a historic victory, emboldening radicalism globally. Finally, the fall of one of America's closest allies would raise serious questions about US power. It could embolden rivals like China and Russia to act more aggressively in places like Taiwan or Ukraine. In short, Israel's collapse could mark the end of one era and the beginning of a far more dangerous world. What we've discussed today is not fiction. It's the convergence of real, observable trends, internal crises, external threats, economic pressures, and diplomatic isolation are building a highly unstable reality for Israel. The year 2025 may define everything, survival or collapse. And the world will be watching and feeling the consequences. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Israel can endure all of this? Or has the collapse already begun and no one wants to admit it? Will its allies step in or abandon it at its most critical hour? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters and could ignite a vital discussion. If you appreciated this video and want to keep full,